Well, welcome back to Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. You know what that is right there? That is the machine, or one of the machines that they're going to use to put my septic field in. This has been a long time coming. What, 3 years? Starting of the week, they're going to put the tanks in and then put the field in. So this actually, along with one other thing, actually my HVAC guy has held me up more so. But I don't know whether you notice any difference on the front of the house, but I now have the front of the house, with the exception of the garage end, is complete. The siding, I did that at the end of last week. I haven't been filming, so I did that section and across. I'll show you what I have been up to. Not a lot of excitement, but stuff that needed to get done. So I had some siding left over from one of the other jobs that I had been doing on the house. But I put a very, well, a lot more ornate front door here. Let me get up out of the sun. So I started with the blocks, 10-inch blocks on the bottom, and then I went over to my friend's on his shaper. Come in here, so that's going to focus the way the sun is hitting here. Anyway, I fluted this. This has got 1, 2, 3, 4 flutes in it. Stopped them 3 inches from the bottom. Stopped them 6 inches from the top, so I could put this little decorative molding in here. And then I put my bead on. So I did the matching bead to the inside, what I do inside, and the same thing down on the bottom. Then at the top, I went over to my friend's shaper and made some cove. That's some 2 3/4, 3-inch cove, and made that cove molding. And it gave me that more, classic look. So, and then of course my window is the same as the other windows. That was the last of the windows to be trimmed out. But, coming here out of the sun, there has not been a lot changing here other than last week I went ahead, I had purchased all my wiring pretty much for the entire house. Because I'm being held up, I went ahead and wired this bedroom here. Got it done. We're waiting on the ductwork, which they're supposed to be here at the end of this week, but to drop the ductwork in so I could build the vanity. I'm hoping it's coming the first of the week, because that's really all that's holding us back, that and the septic, from doing the final touches and moving in. Of course, I think I might have shown this. I'll do a full video on when the room is done. But that is my daughter's kind of makeup area she wanted, and so I used more of my oak. And this is going to be an informational video. I also had a delivery over here. Washer and dryer and a stand-up freezer. Now that's pulled out there a bit because I'm using electrical, but first of the week this stuff came. come back here. Somebody gifted us with washer and dryer and a stand-up freezer. And so I said, thank you very much. And I put it in my laundry room and pantry. So this room, as I've noted, is complete, with the exception of the vent that's got to go in. So what have I been up to? Well, can't remember what I've actually shown, because like I said, it's been, I think the laundry room was the last I was working or doing in videos. Put in a ceiling fan. This is the bedroom area. I also put in a makeshift, just temporary shelving unit here. It's all just boards. I painted it. Just something to store stuff and to hang clothes. Get up off the floor. And I also did a 12-foot section of cabinets and extended out where the stove's going to be. And again, just boards, very makeshift. Some of my old rougher boards, and I just painted everything. And then for a cheap countertop, actually what I did is I went to the Home Depot and picked up 3 4x2 tiles, porcelain tiles. They were about, what, $15 a piece, something like that. $2 a square foot. I think we're roughly a little under $2 a square foot. So about $15 a piece. So for $45 plus tax, I got a countertop as opposed to a roll top, which a 12-foot section was almost $200. Now, obviously, I had to, build the base for it and whatnot, but I just set those in and caulked them in. I'll put a backsplash on here eventually before we move in, but just did something very basic so we have a place to prepare food and whatnot. Again, we're waiting. This is the section that we're waiting on because there's ductwork coming in through here out over that light and then going each way. So I can't really build anything. It'll be in the way of them trying to put their ductwork in. So that's why we have been being held up. So I've been doing other things. My plumber came over and we put in these are supposed to be energy efficient, and it's got like a heat pump on it, so I guess is what they call it. They were having a special rebate on these. Regular hot water tank that size runs you about $600 plus. This one I got for about $400, $300, something with the rebate. Estimated yearly energy $132, so we'll see about that with a family of 6 or 8, sorry. But we got everything hooked up, and that is also supposed to act as a dehumidifier, I was told. So it'll pull in and suck moisture out of the air, hence it'll, condensation goes into my drain. But got this all hooked up. The only thing that we're kind of waiting on again is to get the main sink and stuff in so we can crank all the water on. So yeah, this is what we've been working at. And again, it's not a lot of stuff when you're working 12-hour days. I also put in a handrail. This is, some of the problem when you're working on a winder like this is what do you do when you drop these lasts? You're dropping almost two plus feet here. 1, 2, 3 drops, 4 drops. So yeah, 28 inches. So what I did is I just extended, because I know my kids, especially the little ones, just rounded this over. This is a 2x4, pine 2x4. Just put a quarter round on it to make it nice and round. Put a 2-inch block in first and screwed this to the wall, and then I put this on later. And what I did is I just kind of rounded it, come across, and then straight up, and then up the stairwell. So the kids can grab a hold of this, or they can grab the back side and pull themselves up or for stability. But it took about a day or so by the time I designed it and routed it all out and put it on, painted it. So probably what I'll do in going upstairs as well, I mean, I have the pine, so let's use it. So what is the other thing that I've been doing? Well, I have been busy all week long wiring. I have put all the wiring in this section. I've got 11 pot lights, puck lights down through here, 5 and 5. This is a schoolroom, so I wanted lots of light. And then I dropped one out there as well. And I wired everything to have lighting out in behind. These are dropped out because there's going to be bookshelves each way eventually, and so between where the 4-foot sections of bookshelves are, I will extend it. This is going to come out to the front of the bookshelves, and I'll put a box on a decorative board on between the bookshelves. So there's one there, there's one there. And again, all those storage areas I put in so I could put in some lighting, and then I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more outlets over here. So at every juncture, that's what I did. And yeah, a couple ceiling fans in here to circulate the air. It's a 30-foot room, roughly 29.6. And so I put evenly spaced ceiling fans here. So that was the first room. Then wired the rest. I just finished up the wiring of each of these rooms. So this is one of the bedrooms, pot lights, ceiling fans. So it's a little dark up here. I should turn the lights on. Tested everything, all the connections are working. Put the switches on. I don't know when I'll be doing the sheetrocking up here, but at least when we hook everything up, we can get the rooms will be all fully energized once we connect to the panel, put in the ceiling fan. Main office, ceiling fans, pot lights. There's roughly 4 pot lights in these square rooms, and then the standard plug spacing around the perimeter. Master bedroom. Plugs around the perimeter. And then pot lights on the fourths, so not on every one of the 8, but 1, no, yes, no, yes, no, and so forth around it. And then my indirect lighting, I don't know whether you can see it there. I'll try to, I can zoom in a bit. What I did is I put a board in between those 2 rafters, and then put it upright, because apparently that's the way they're supposed to be. You're not supposed to put them on the floor. And so that will all be finished in with, I'll bring the sheetrock around each side and just finish that in so that the direct lighting can go around the perimeter. And then up at the top I got a place for the ceiling fan and to hang with a light. And let me see. It has been hot, 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 hot here. I'm walking around no shirt and running the fan on me wherever I'm working. This is the master bedroom, bath. I just put a simple light over the mirror, come around and switch and plug. And of course the walk-in closet. All that's got is a light, pot light, and then quote-unquote sewing room. Just regular plugs around the perimeter, and I put one puck light out over in that kind of walk-in closet there, just a couple steps into it. And then the last thing, I did was come up into the oven, and it is hot up here. I've worked most of the day up here in the attic at probably about 110 degrees. Left the windows open to try to get some airflow, but I just wired in a plug, lights for stairwell, one light to run the pot lights. I put 5 pot lights in here, enough to kind of light this up. And eventually when we get all the AC ductwork run, shut these windows here while I think of it. When we get all the AC unit ductwork in, then I'll come and I'll run plugs around the perimeter, get that wiring done. So if we ever do use it for anything, we can insulate and do that. So this is the panel where we're bringing everything in. I just run the lines up here and drop them. And what I do to test my lines, after I've run a line, I just strip back and put them into a plug on an extension cord where I've got power. And that tells me whether all my circuits are working, whether my circuit, I guess, is working, and all of the connections. And I like to make sure everything is running before start sealing stuff up in the hallway here. So that is what, I mean, this has taken me all week working here by myself, running all this wiring. The only thing I have left is to do the garage, the living room down here, and the kitchen and dining. So before I go home, I may start the living room here. It's one of those things when you're at the mercy of the other tradesmen, because those are outside of my expertise. They won't let me do the septic because here in Eastern Tennessee, and then as far as the HVAC, that's beyond me. Didn't really want to tackle that. I didn't know all the codes on it, but that becomes more difficult when you're waiting on it. And I've been waiting now for weeks on both the septic and on the HVAC. So I don't know what's going to happen if the HVAC guy doesn't show up this week, because I've got maybe 3 more days. I could put in wiring to finish all the wiring. Just it's the issue of money, and I didn't want to start spending a bunch of money that we didn't have. Just because the other thing is the siding outside. I've got 4 walls of siding that I can do, but you've got to buy the siding. And so I had most of the electrical stuff already purchased earlier in the summer, so that's why I did that. I knew that would take me about a day and a half per room by the time I do all of the lighting and everything. So slow process. But we're getting there. I'll try to do a video on them doing the septic field and the tanks and stuff. And I don't like videotaping other people working, but just kind of the progress and whatnot. So we're getting there. I'm hoping that maybe within the next couple weeks have some movement towards moving in. So it's been a long summer. It's been a hot summer. Thanks for watching. I know a lot of times the viewership goes down in the summer. People are outside, but I appreciate those who are watching. But until next time, as always, you have a great day.